So I'm a used car dealer, and what that means is I get the luxury of going to these used car dealer auctions. 469 horsepower. I can see what's happening to the car market on the ground floor. I've been 9,500. I can see what these cars are actually bringing on a wholesale level. I can see if there's a lot of repos coming through the system. I can see if these cars are actually selling, if dealers are actually buying. Lumpy Nissan is what it is with no top. All right, got bids coming in now. And this is a luxury that you don't have, but you know what? I'm going to bring you with me today, and you get to see what dealers are actually paying for these used cars. All right, it's rolling out, still $7,000. All right, and I was not at this auction last week, but I was here 2 weeks ago, and if you saw the video, this Jeep ran through and didn't sell. So that means it's been here at least 2 consecutive sales and not selling, and we're starting to see that a lot. And really, I want to see a lot of no sales go through the auction, because when that happens, that means that these dealers will actually start to lower their prices. And what that tells you a lot is that these independent dealers, used car dealers like me, there's not a lot of appetite, there's not a lot of demand for them to pay up for what these sellers actually want for these vehicles, and that's a good thing for the market. It's going to mean the wholesale prices are still coming down. Sellers have to just get this thing that's just going to click in their brain to say, you know what, it's not going to bring any more. There's a saying in the used car market, first money, best money. That means that typically when a car runs through the auction for the very first time, that's going to be the most money that it's going to bring. So that Jeep's going to continue to bring less and less money. And when that seller actually realizes, you know what, we just need to cut bait with it, they're going to take a lower price than what they actually wanted for the vehicle, and that's going to push wholesale prices down across the market as we see more of these no sales pop up. All right, let's check this one out. So a big boy right here. It's a 2004 F350. It's got 182,000 miles. They tried to start at 16 grand, no bids. Dropped it down to 15,000, no bids. All right, dropped down to 14,000, still no bids. The outside body actually looks good. I don't see any rust. Paint looks good on it. Let's check the inside. Tried to drop down to 9,000, still no bids. Had to drop it all the way down to $7,000. Got one bid at $7,000. Inside's very clean. They really clean this up. I wonder if this was actually on the dealer lot. They tried to sell it and then they couldn't, because usually when they bring these cars in, they're mostly trade-ins, and they don't clean them up at all. They just, that's locked. But they'll just usually get them how they've been traded in and run them straight through the auction just like that. But this one looks like it's actually been detailed up very well, and overall looks great. So we'll see what this one brings inside. All right, it's rolling out, still $7,000. All right, we got another bidder coming in now, up to $7,500. Brought up to $7,800, and they put it on a phone call, so it seems like it's a long way away. They try to start out $16,000, $7,800, not even close. All right, we're getting tons and tons and tons of views every week, but you're not hitting the subscribe button. Let me know what I need to do to get you to hit that subscribe button. Please do it. Please do it, and like this video. Thank you. All right, if you look behind me, what we're noticing at these auctions is you see a lot of these empty spots. And these empty spots are actually reserved for new car dealers that are bringing in new car trades. And we're seeing more and more that these auctions are actually having less cars every week that they're running. And what that's an element of is that these new car dealers aren't selling as many cars, so they're not getting as many trade-ins, so they're actually not sending them to these auctions. And really, I think that's a dynamic of the time of year. Right now, we're going through a time where car sales are going to get slower, and that's because the holidays are coming up. People are saving their money for Christmas, for the holidays, and it'll get even worse as the holidays get closer, because when people are spending money on Christmas, they don't have money to spend on cars. And right now, because the economy is not great anyway, student loans coming back into the system, inflation's still high, people are having a hard time paying their bills. They're not buying a lot of new cars right now, so what that means is less cars for us here at the used car auctions, because they're not getting any trade-ins if they're not selling any of their new cars. All right, we don't see very many of these at all. This is a 2009 Subaru WRX, and it's got 119,000 miles. All right, asking for $10,000. No bids coming in. Dropped it down to $6,000. All right, got bids coming in now. Looks very good. I like the paint on it. It's I mean, it's dirty on the outside, so it's not popping as much as it could, but it's just dirt. So this blue would be fantastic after it's cleaned up. But the body looks great, great, great. It's only got 120,000 miles. It should look pretty good. 6,200, 63, up to $6,800. There you go. All right, I'm looking for the dog here now. This is a Subaru. This is a dog's favorite car, and I guess probably the WRX is probably not the same kind as like the Foresters and the Outbacks, where they're more travel cars. This is a little bit more sporty, but you've got your manual transmission, which I think you would want in WRX, but overall, this is a very, very nice car. So up to $7,000. It's rolling out. Still got bids coming in. $7,200. All right, it's up to $7,500. Up to $8,000 now. Still bidding on the Subaru. Up to $8,500. Nope, $8,400. $8,400. They put it on the if and didn't sell it in lane. Put it on the if. The interesting thing, even though that there are fewer cars at these car auctions, because the new car dealers aren't selling as many, the prices really aren't going up. You would assume that with fewer cars here at these used car dealer auctions that the price of supply and demand, right? Fewer cars mean prices have to go up. But what we're seeing is we're still seeing a downtrend in the wholesale data. And me and Alex, Alex is my mechanic, he also buys cars from me. We're actually finding that we're able to buy more cars for a cheaper price. So that's telling me that the demand on the used car side for people actually buying them is really drying up. All right, what a mistake by Nissan. Look at this. This is like a SUV convertible, two-door. What is this? What is this? Why would they do this? All right, here's that Nissan mistake. I mean, Nissan Murano. Why would they do this? This is not a sports car. It's lumpy. It's a Murano, and it's got two doors. Auctioneer saying the top does not work on it, so it's just going to stay down. Dropped it down to $11,000, no bids. Now dropped it down to $7,000. We got bids coming in. Why would they do this? Somebody tell me. I need to know why they would do this. Anyway, we got to check it out, right? Okay. Inside. You know what? I don't even have to open the door. There's the inside. It is clean. It's been taken care of. Somebody took care of it. It's I didn't even tell you what it was. It's a 2014 Murano convertible, two-door. Up to $7,500. Oh, that's ugly. Lumpy Nissan is what it is with no top. It's got 73,000 miles. We'll check it out. Up to $8,400. Up to $8,500. Up to $92,000, $9,300, $9,400. Up to $9,500. Got $9,500 and they put it on a phone call. Did not sell it in lane, they put it on a phone call. And for those of you that are new here, an if or a phone call just means that the bidder didn't go up to the seller's reserve or the minimum amount that they would take for the car, so they try to get the deal done after the auction. Prices should be really going up right now as we're taking more used vehicles out of the system, and they're just not. So that's a good thing for potential car buyers down the road, because that should mean that prices are still going to get pushed down. And if you get some kind of influx, if you get these new car dealers actually start to selling more cars, if they add more incentives, if they are pushed by their floor plans, by their lines of credit to actually start moving a lot of vehicles, and we get more trade-ins into the system, then that's really going to put a big downward pressure on the used car prices, and that's really what I'm hoping for. I just need these new car dealers to actually start selling some freaking cars. All right, definitely need to check this one. This is a Mercedes-Benz 2017 AMG C63. $70,000 car, 469 horsepower. All right, here's that Mercedes. There you go. This thing will move, I bet. Looks like somebody, well, they definitely put like a matte finish on it. The paint job's done well, though. A lot of times with this this matte finish, you'll see a lot of cracks if it's done cheaply. But no, they did a good job. They spent some money on this thing, so looks good. I bet this thing will move. All right, they're trying to start out at $42,000. Dropped it down to $40,000. I would assume something like this is probably not going to get sold here. There's not enough dealers for this. So a buddy just pointed out that they actually don't have the keys in it. He wanted to check it, but it's probably because the sunroof, I would assume if you open it up, it will not close. So Gross, I don't know what that is, don't even want to speculate. Overall, other than that, looks okay. There's a little bit of stainage right there too. I think that could probably be cleaned out, but inside looks pretty good. Dropped it down to $30,000. They've got bids. Well, they've got a bid. Okay, got bids. All right, got bids coming in. Up to $31,000. Up to $31,300. And it's gone. Still bidding on it. Up to $31,500. Sunroof, I would assume probably 90% certainty that if you open it, it is not going to close. But we'll check it anyway. All right, we're still bidding on the Mercedes. It's already out, but we're up to $32,200. Seller's got $38,000 in it. Said he'd sell it for $36,796. They offered $35,000. Seller said he would do it, and they sold it with a drive. So the buyer actually gets to drive it before he has to decide if he's going to buy it. So real quick on that Mercedes, something happened that doesn't usually happen, and at a small sale like this, you can actually have some back and forth a little bit with the buyer and the seller, especially on something that's more expensive on that Mercedes like that they wanted like 40 grand for. So it only brought, I think it was like $33,000 in there, but the seller wanted somewhere around 38. They actually negotiated back and forth a little bit in the lane, the bidder and the seller, and they came to $35,000, but the bidder wanted a drive on it. What that means is that the bidder has the ability to actually go drive the car after the sale, and if there's anything wrong with the car, they don't have to take it. So the seller allowed them to do that. What the seller's saying is that, look, this is a good car, go drive it, you'll see it's a good car, and then they'll take it. But what it does is it guarantees the buyer, the bidder, just basically that the motor and transmission's good, and they can actually go test it out before they have to actually give the money on it. All right, let's check this F-150. It's a 2013. It's got 158,000 miles. I'm trying to get 13,000 out of it. Nobody bid. They dropped it down to $9,000. We got bids coming in now. I don't know how I feel about this front end. It kind of looks cheap, but if you get farther away from it, it kind of looks cool. It looks a little bit like the newer Toyota front ends. I don't know. No, that still looks cheap. That looks cheap. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I like the headlights. I like where they got the little F-150 emblem on the inside of them. Up to $9,500. Up to $10,000 now. This is a FX4. The wheels and the rims and the tires all look good and lifted. There you go. I like the body on it. It looks pretty good. I don't see, yeah, this somebody actually loved this thing. They spent a lot of money on the accessories. There's a lot of accessories on this truck. Up to $10,700. Still been on the F-150. It's already drove out. All right, inside. A little dirty. Seats are not ripped. Surprising for a 10-year-old truck. It doesn't look tore up. Somebody really loved this truck, so we'll go inside and see what it brings. Got $12,500 and they put it on a phone call. Didn't sell it in lane. We're trying to get it done after the sale. All right, auction's done. Very alarming, actually. We had 7 on our list that we checked. 5 of them were if bids, though, so they're going to try to get those done after the sale, but they didn't sell them in lane. 1 was a flat-out no sell. They weren't even close. And that Mercedes, they put it on an if, but they already agreed that they were going to sell it for that $35,000 price if it's deemed good by the bidder. So what's interesting right now is that this is very frustrating for buyers and for the auction itself, right? And when I say it's frustrating for these the bidders like me, is that we know that these prices should be lower than what they are, and the sellers are just not taking our bids, right? They're not selling these vehicles. And when I say that the auction's going to be frustrated is because the auction also knows that these prices should be lower, and the only way that they make money is when cars switch hands. And when they've got these bidders in here actually bidding on these cars, but the sellers is like, no, it's not enough, and we're just not going to sell it, just keep holding it week after week after week, it costs these these auctions more money to run these cars week after week. And if they're not actually doing this volume, if they're not actually switching these the hands from the sellers to the buyers, these auctions aren't making a whole lot of money. So this has got to be beyond frustrating for these auctions to see all these cars running through the system and they're not selling. And then just the seller's like, you know what, we think we'll get more money next week. And the auctioneers, the guys who run this auction, the owners, they know that's not the case. This is their business. They know that if you're not going to sell it now, it's not going to bring in more money next week. You need to get rid of the cars. It's got to be so frustrating for these auction owners. These sellers are not moving with the market. The market's coming down, and it's telling these sellers right now, because they ain't selling anything in lane, that their prices they're way too high and they need to come down. And I think that's really what a lot of you are seeing in the market right now on the retail side, because I'm hearing it all over my comments. Well, prices aren't coming down. Prices are coming down, but sellers can remain stubborn for a very long time, and they can remain stubborn until they can't, until they actually have to move stuff. And over the last few years, these sellers, these big franchise dealers, they've eaten very well. So they have afforded themselves a lot of time to actually be stubborn and keep their prices high, because they think there's going to be some kind of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow if they keep holding on to these vehicles. Well, you know what? The Fed's not coming to the rescue. The government's not coming to the rescue anymore. There's no more money that's going to be pumped into the system. So I don't know what they're waiting for. But if they don't move with the market, they're going to get burnt. And I really think a lot of them are going to get burnt. But that's what you're seeing on the retail side, is these sellers are remaining to be stubborn as long as they can, because they think they're still going to be able to get these outrageous prices. They can't. We already see it. Day supply is going up, inventory's building on all these lots, and eventually they're going to have to cut some of their prices. We're seeing it right here on the wholesale side. So again, I'll say, these sellers, they can be stubborn until they can't. And when they can't, it's going to be a bloodbath. And I think a lot of them are going to get burnt. But this is my camera's just something weird. 2017's got 44,000 miles, or is that 56,000 miles? Why am I messing this up right now? It's got 44,000 miles. There we go. 2 weeks. Wait a minute. Misspoke. 2 weeks ago that ran. So now that's that one and the Jeep that ran 2 weeks ago. They've ran 2 weeks in a row now, and both no sold. That's a good thing. Sell if they, nope. And what that's, no set.